morning, everyone. My name is Chia Ping, and welcome to the second lecture of our Kuala Lumpur Global Technopreneurship Challenge 2016. So I'm delighted to see all the positive responses that you have shared, especially after the first lecture by our own Professor Mushtaq. So today we're going to go with building a dream team. So let's just see what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be, first we're going to start with why we need teams. So we're going to talk about the member functions, a little bit on core competency, also SWOT analysis, and then we will go through with stages of team evolution based on the Tuckman's model, and then organization chart, and lastly, what you have to do. So first of all, if you have formed your team members, 3 to 5, right? Good job, carry on. But if you haven't, this is the time for you to do so. If you really think, if we just think again about the reason why we need team. So let's say like I'm one of the team members, I have certain strengths and all that, and I'm able to produce a good project. So what happens if you have another person just like you, another one? So 3 to 5 in a team. So it's definitely going to help us to deliver the value proposition for the project, because this is definitely one of the most important things that you need to look out for when you want to work on a project, which is to address one of the 14 grand challenges, and also to add business value to whatever that you're working on. Of course, it's going to amplify strengths within our members, and for whatever that my weakness is, or it's going to help mitigate the weaknesses and shortcomings that I have, because whatever weakness I have can be compensated by my team members. So let's move on. So if we look at building teams, all right, there's definitely particular function that will be required from each of us, because we need to have a clear task distributions. So usually if you look at it again, these functions require their own specific knowledge, skills, attitudes, and attributes. So if you just form a table like what you see here, all right, you can lay it out in terms of function, knowledge. This is touching on the cognitive side of it. The skills, probably hands-on, psychomotor domain. Attitude and feelings, that's the emotion part, the affective part, and attributes. So if there are certain functions in whatever project you're working on that you need. So this is an example that we gave you. So say we are in a racing team, you will need a driver, a team manager, and a mechanic, to say at least. So a three people team as a basic form. So the driver will need to have certain skills like, driving, all right, good driving skills. And of course, since you want the car to be fast, you will want the driver to be lightweight and obviously to have a valid driving license. For team manager, obviously, he or she will need to know about the knowledge, the cognitive side, the race regulations, and empathy, because you're going to work a lot, especially in terms of communicating with your team members. So that's very important. For mechanic, the engine principles, and if anything is wrong with the car engines or whatever, obviously he will need to have the skills of repairing the engine. All right, so if we just also look at core competencies, all right, if we break this down into 2 words, core actually means the most important or central part of something. Competency, a skill that you need in a particular job or for a particular task, all right, so as a whole, it's defined as a specific set of skills or production techniques that deliver additional value to the customer. So in this case, whatever project you're working on, you need to know what would be the one that will attract your customer. Another one would be important special capability or expertise, especially whatever that you're doing in your business, and that can afford it to be a sustainable and to have competitive advantage. So it can also be a unique ability that a company will acquire from its founders and develops, and it's definitely not easily imitated, all right? So core competencies are basically what gives you or your company like more competitive advantages in creating value to customers in whatever field that you're choosing. In this case, in one of the 14 grand challenges that you are addressing. So let us move to SWOT analysis. So once you have formed your team, definitely it's important for us to identify these 4 quadrants. So S, W, O, and T. So S for strength, what are the strengths of you as a team? And then followed by the weaknesses. So what are the weaknesses that you have for each of us? And then these are more things that we, or what we call as the internal factor. For the external factor that can affect your team, that would be the opportunity and the threats. All right, so you might want to have a look at what sort of opportunities you have that you can definitely make use of as the competitive advantage for your team, and then as well as the threats. What could possibly threaten, you know, there are certain factors, probably in terms of technological or in terms of competition, that external factor could bring to your team. So let's move on. We have formed a team. So apparently there are stages of team evolution. This is based on Tubman's model, founded by Dr. Tubman. So right now, you have formed your team. We are at the first stage of what we call forming stage. We'll be highly enthusiastic, probably still low awareness. Most of the instructions or whatever would be according to the leader themselves. Team members might still not know a lot about whatever that is happening in the project. Everyone's still in the early phase of working on the project. And then as we proceed, we will go to the second stage, which is what we call storming. All right. Are we as enthusiastic as how we are in the first stage? Not so much. We're starting to see, as we know more a little bit, as we know a little bit more about our team members, definitely there will be certain different ways of how we do or work on certain stuff. There could be some glitches, could be some conflicts and all that. So this is where storming stage is at. But what happens after you brave a storm? So this is when the third stage comes in. At norming stage, you have known your, glitches, conflicts have been resolved. You know your team members pretty much well. Everyone's starting to have a groove of whatever that they're working on. So at this stage, it's basically still low enthusiasm, not as high as the previous one, but now the difference is that you already have high awareness of whatever that's happening. So everyone should be able to share the same goal, the same mission and vision on whatever that's going on. And the last stage will be performing. Everyone doesn't even have to be instructed by the group leader anymore. You guys already know what to do, and all you have to do is just perform and shine. So it's important for us to have organization chart as well. So if we look at the purpose of organization chart, all right, it actually helps us structure the business to focus on the core competencies and deliver the value proposition. And then establishes relationships among departments, gives you the lines of authority, and also helps in decision-making tool. So, and if we move on, we have samples of typical organization chart, all right? The common that you see from top to bottom would be the hierarchy. As well, there's another one in matrix form, all right, which means that a certain department could be responsible and could be overseeing a few projects at one time. So it's like a cross of rows and columns of whatever that you need to do. And then if you say you're in a professional discipline focus, all right, in this case, we're taking higher education institution, all right? So you have the dean on top, and then followed by deputy dean, program director, and the lecturers, all right? So this is for professional discipline. If we move on to product range focus, all right? So this is definitely applicable to you if you're working on a certain specific product. So in this case, it's like you have technical director, you could have a microprocessor division, you could have microcontroller division. So this is a little bit of the example of how an E&E company would have been. So it really depends on what project you're working on. But I think it's a good example to share with you. So project focus, all right? Some of you might think that this is the most suitable one for you since you're working on one. You have technical directors, software development, research project, product development, for different parts of stuff that you're working on. So, lastly, what you have to do. So we have quizzes after the lecture, make sure you do the quiz. And if you have formed a team, good for you, keep it up. And if you haven't, it's time for you to scout around, especially we have so many participants now who are still looking for it, for team members. Select a nice name for your own team, all right? Do take a team picture. And if you have members from some other places of the world, I mean like, well, this is what technology is for. All right, we'll still be able to get a team picture for that. Develop your team structure based on whatever that we have talked about, functions required or corresponding traits that you need for your project, organization chart, very important, and most importantly, perform your team SWOT analysis. So I hope you enjoyed the lecture, and most importantly, also don't forget to perform your daily brain rewiring. So I'll be listing my 5 things that I'm grateful for, and I'll see you there. Thank you.